I just messed that. I'm sorry, Sister Yvonne Strickland.
My name is Yvonne Strickland, and my first question is, what is the importance of changing the name? Does Creflo Dollar get out there and help us fight the crime, the prostitution, the drug, the killing on Old National? The young lady before mentioned from flat shows to 138. Our problem is from flat shows to 285. That's where the problem is. That's where our drugs, our crime lies. And will changing the name make this area better? So if it's not going to make it better, then why change the name?
Enough said. Ray Jordan. Ray Jordan. Nick, I'm coming to you next.
Good evening, everybody. I'm a member of this church, and I just recently heard about this. And my thoughts are not from about what Creflo Dollar has done on the street or what his church has done or what he owes or what we owe him or anything like that. My thoughts come from a biblical point of view, and that is, why would he have to have a street dedicated to him? If he's truly working for God, and if he's truly doing God's work, he doesn't need that. God will make sure that he's known for what he's done. Why does he have to have his ego fed? I mean, you know, the Atlanta airport is about, what, 20 minutes from here? Why does he need a jet? I saw him on the news, and his answer was, because the airlines don't fly according to my schedule. Well, guess what? The airlines don't fly according to my schedule either. But nobody's buying me an airplane. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I mean, you know, if they want to give him the money to do that, then fine, rather than help this community. So we should sit back and think that if his ego has to be fed by having a street dedicated to him, what are the reasonings behind that? What is he trying to do with himself? Is he trying to create a legacy? Because doing that is not going to do that for him. It's only going to create the wrong legacy. I think that the people of World Changers should sit back and think about what their pastor is actually doing as far as his image is concerned. Because maybe other pastors have streets named after them, but Old National Highway is Old National Highway, and I don't want my church to be on Creflo Dollar, whatever. Thank you.
Well, I think to help speed things up, we're going to call the next number of speakers and ask you just to stand up here in order, okay? So first we have Beverly Young. Next we have Chandra Quiver. Cruver. Okay. Sorry about that. We can start right behind you, okay? Right behind, we have just Kelly. You, okay. Kevin Dow. I know that name. Richard Jones. Kevin, if I could get you to come over. So Kelly is coming up here. Mr. Dow behind Kelly. Richard Jones, you're behind Mr. Dow. You Richard Jones, sir? Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Would you like, you're on the speaking list too? Okay. Ann Mays. Ann Mays, you're coming? Yes, ma'am. Behind Miss Mays, we have Matthew B. Matthew B. Yes, sir. Then we have Derek Gibson. And then what is your name, sir? A.C. Farland. You'll be the last of the line. Then after that, we'll hear from the two senators.
Hi, my name is Beverly Young. I'm Punta Ridge Subdivision President. I've only been in the area 5 years, but January of last year, a young man, a gang, pulled 7 gallons of gas on my house. I was the one on the news saying they soul need to be saved, and I forgive them. Okay? It takes leadership, and don't back down from them. It takes having the fear of God in you to let these folks know we mean business. Okay? My Bible tells me we need to come off around these 4 walls and go to and fro. It didn't say have a little sanctuary named Creflo Dollar. It didn't say have a little sanctuary named Beverly Young. But if you're going to take leadership, you got to show some action. You got to show some work. Punta Ridge have came up a mighty long way in 5 years. We fought against the drug addict. We fought against the drug people. And that's why my house, God's house, like it got burned up. But every time he poured that gas on, he said, "Whew, that house is still standing right today." Because when you do what God say do, you don't need no recognition. When you do what God say do, your name gonna come up anyway. Okay, and he said Emma Darnell him. I tell you what, mention Beverly Young and see when Emma Darnell call you back. Mention Beverly Young. In other words, if they know your name, you don't have to worry about them not showing up. And what I'm saying right now, and I'm going to sit down, we was a small church. And I'm going to have to tell this whether people like it or not. If you ain't paying your tithes at Creflo Dollar Church, you don't get no money. Our small church had to help 1,000 of his, well, not 1,000, but some of his people. And it drained our account. But that's what it is. We didn't even go out there and ask nobody to help, but they came to us. If you ain't paying no tithes and they don't know your Social Security number, you don't get no help. And they only been out there on Old National Hwy 3 times. Each Saturday I went out there. I said, oh, they finally doing something. The third Saturday, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, they were gone the 4th.
How y'all doing? My name is Chandra. I am a product of South Fulton County Schools. I am an employee of Fulton County Schools. I don't have no homeowners association. I stay right off Jerome Road. We don't have no homeowners association. We don't. But Old National and Jerome Road has been there since the Ridgeway was up the street. For me, this is my. When I get to Atlanta, I have to see Old National. I don't need to see nobody else's name. Now, all this, if it's not a name change, it's a dedication, whatever it is, I need to see Old National on that green sign. What is the purpose of this dedication? That's my question. What is the purpose of this dedication? For what? Instead of dedicating, we need to clean up. We need to clean up. Old National, when I ride down Old National, when I get off 285, I work in Sandy Springs. I'm a teacher. I work in Sandy Springs. However, this is my community. This is my community. I graduated from Banneker, you know. But either way, yeah. Riding down Old National disgusts me. We got a strip club. For real? A strip club on Old National? Since when? That offended me. That truly offended me. We got a strip club. I got my notes. We got a strip club that needs to be shut down. Before it was one on Gobby Road, they shut that one down. Y'all remember that? Al Capone back in the day, way back in the day. They shut that one down. That one needs to be shut down. They done changed the name to something else, but it's still a strip club. When I get on the road at 6:30 in the morning, back 3 months ago, when I got on the road at 6:30 in the morning to go to Sandy Springs, the strip club was still open. For real? That's ridiculous. We have elected officials who represent us for a reason, because this is our community. Our representatives are our voice. We have a voice. This is, thank you very much for this. I remember when World Changes only had a chapel. Now they got a dome. Now they got a parking lot, a deck, and street lights. And that's fine, great. Thank you for keeping the traffic flowing, but it's still backed up. Now, Old National has fallen by the wayside since, one of our commissioners was eliminated. Old National has fallen by the wayside. Something came out when about Emma Jones, Emma Darnell cleaning up the area. Old National ain't a part of that cleanup. On that little newspaper thing, I did not see anything about Old National. I saw Pear Boulevard. I saw all these other areas. What about Old National Highway? I understand that part of it belongs to the city of College Park up there by Guyby Road. I understand that. But here's the thing. Guyby Road has been the same situation. But my sister is 42 for 42 years. It's been the same thing. Ain't nothing changed. They might change the name, but it's still the same crime and stuff that's going on. I have a problem with that. I've had a problem with that for a very long time. I'm very passionate. I would also like to talk to you about being a part of some stuff. Sidewalks and all that, that's good and everything, but that should have been done when I was in high school, back in 98. That should have been done then. So what I'm saying is we need our voice heard. We need to unite. Fulton County, this part of Fulton County, I call it unincorporated, as they call it. We need to stop. We need to unite. Now, those that are for Creflo, that's fine, great, all and well and good. If you want to speak, come up here to the mic and tell us what you want to say. But please stop saying stuff under your breath out here in the audience. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Marcus. I just have an issue. I oppose it. I have an issue with the dedication. I can name a lot of people besides him. Ida B. Wells, Dorothy Heights, Barack Obama. Something inspiring. That's all I had to say. There's other names that you can say besides him.
All right, my name is Kelly Ross. I'm in the Devonshire neighborhood. I'm going to be brief, but when I heard about this, my first thing was, what? He's looking for a $65 million jet, and it's a church. He don't pay no taxes. So what has been done here, on our community, on Old National, for him to really be deemed worthy of naming his, attaching his name to our street? Yeah, he did, as she stated. He cleaned up the plaza, built the dome, maybe helping some of the property values. But as far as, helping with our immediate needs, I don't see a reason. But that was my big thing. You want a big $65 million plane, you don't pay taxes, you haven't really done anything here. There is no presence as far as, your a presence in the community. We don't know what's going on up there until we maybe see the tents and the jumpers in the parking lot. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll take my daughter there and it's supposed to be community day? Oh, well, okay. But it's no feeling, like you're actually a part and like you care about being here. Maybe he just built the church here because the taxes are low. But I don't understand. Now, some other things I wanted to ask is, what are the financial incentives of this? Like, why do we even need it? If he doesn't want it or he didn't ask for it, why are we even here? And since we are, what are the financial incentives? And if they're not for him, who are they for? Okay, I'm done. Thank you. Should I say this?
You still all right.
Good evening. My name is Richard Jones. I oppose. I'm going to say that first. But I have worked with world changes. I'm hearing a lot of knocks against world changes. That's a great church. Okay? Let's get that. It is a great church. That's a great pastor. I have seen his Taffy Dollar, his wife, down at Magic City trying to get them young ladies to stop stripping. I have seen it. I have seen the bags that she give out trying to stop the prostitutes on Old National. Like I said, I do oppose, so don't get me wrong. But do not say World Changes is doing nothing for this community. I put together a prayer march with World Changes. Okay? And we walked down Old National from the old service merchandise. Pastor Dollar, his wife, many of his congregation, and some of us. And we prayed for Old National, okay? So we sit here knocking this man, this pastor, that I think personally is a nice person. I don't go to the church. But I do believe that they do care about this community. Now, they could do more, and I can name every church on Old National could do more, and I can look around this room and say we could do more. Now, we are sitting here opposing the name, which I do agree. We had up the march, the prayer march, and Senator James was there. We had some officials from Cottage Park, and I wonder, and I could be wrong, did I cause this? Because when I had my time to speak, I said, we need to change Old National. Senator James? And I said, maybe we change the name to New National. New National. I said that maybe change the name. But like I said, I do oppose naming this our great corridor here after word changes.
Why do you oppose, sir?
Because there are more historical people that we can look up that maybe we can name. And the young man said, I was thinking about it at work, Obama Way. That was just names that came to my head. But that's just a name. It's just a name for me now. I'm not saying I'm going to go to the news and say that. No, I'm not. I just said what I was thinking now, okay? But there are some, I'm pretty sure, I think a young man in a yellow jacket was naming some historical people who maybe we can think of. But, you know, we can name that block any name you want to. It don't change. It don't change. Now, if we're going to change it, let's change.
Hold on. No, not you, sir. Not you. I was just trying to.
Let's change the block itself. They said we were going to get cameras. I'm the one who put together the organization Old National Area Resident United. Our president here, Mr. Deborah Bazemore. Our vice president here, Mr. Horace Kuchik. Okay? Let's change the things and the cameras. We've been hearing about these cameras, and then Commissioner Edwards said we have to go through some committees, and the money is gone. Okay, we're still waiting on the cameras, and now we're saying widen the streets. But I always look in the mirror and say, why does this problem persist on Old National? Me? Now you all look in the mirror. It's you, because we allow it to happen. I go run in my house and I lock the door. Well, where it changes is walking up there, hipping them girls. Yes, I have seen it. I'm going to speak for Miss Taffy Dollar. Yes. So don't sit here and say, world changes don't do nothing. Yes, they do. They do. Sometimes you just don't see it. But I have seen it, so I'm not going to sit here and say that church is just a big dome that don't do nothing. They do, you all. But do we help them? I have seen it. I have seen them with them ladies with them bags trying to get them girls some clothes. I have seen it. So let's say, I know about the name. Okay, let's get rid of this name. I pray we don't change the name. But don't say that church is not helping us. There is more to be done. There's more to be done. And I'm not praising the church. I'm just saying.
30 seconds, sir.
That just make it fair. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ann Mays. I live in Burdett Ridge. And good luck on your run, Ms. Dibber. And I'm still waiting for who you're running for to call me back. And a lot of city officials. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still waiting for city officials to call me back for a lot of things. And who you're trying to replace. Still waiting for him to return my phone call. But don't be. But I just wanted to say, I know you all remember the blackout that we had in the winter 2 years ago. And I called Creflo Dollar's church, and security answered the phone, and I asked him, could we come over and keep warm in the church? I said, you have generators on. I was told no. I said, well, could you please call the good pastor and ask him, can we come in and keep warm? There's people here with babies. I was told no, that came down from him already. I said, okay, we can't come keep warm, but you have heat over there. We don't have heat for 2 days. 2 days, we couldn't come in there. he said, I'm not sure where the gentleman went, who said he does do things for the community. I'm sorry, I have not seen it. I haven't seen it. I'm sorry, I'm not down here. His wife, regardless, whoever, I don't see it, and I'm not down in Magic City. So I don't see what she's doing over there. I don't see anything in the community. I have been here since 2009 from California, and I feel like I'm in a war zone. I really do. So I have made calls over and over to people, and they don't call back, and they get mad when you blast them when you see them in public. But that's what I'm about. I used to be a community activist for years, since I was 17 till I was 30. And I mean, it is a lot of work when you're doing it on your own, but I do it. And I do things in my subdivision. I'm trying to get them to just do so much, and it's just like they don't want to do it. It's like they're scared. And I have to say, I am only a renter. I'm a Section 8 renter. But they look at me and they're like, we can't believe you're a Section 8 renter. I just had an inspection yesterday, and on the bottom of the paper, she says, good housekeeper. I'm a wonderful housekeeper. I have OCD. I keep my house clean. And I said, well, get rid of the people on Section 8 in this subdivision. If they are the problem, get rid of them. They said, well, you're Section 8. I said, but I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like that. I don't tear up. I'm not wild. Let's talk to them. Let's get them calmed down. So if you have that type of neighbor, let's just deal with something like that with them. So I'm just shocked there's not a lot of people here. This should be full. This should be full, especially with what's going on with Old National, with this. I'm sorry, what? Well, I seen it on TV yesterday morning. Let me say this real quick. I seen it on TV yesterday morning, and I called Channel 2, and they couldn't find the story. And I said, well, you mentioned it, but you didn't say where it was going to be and what time. So I called up to World Changes yesterday to ask them about the meeting, where it was going to be held. She said she knew nothing about it. I said, okay, you don't know anything about this meeting? It's about your pastor? She knew nothing. I said, okay. So it came on the news again today. Here I am, here we all are. Maybe we need to have another meeting, another one, and it needs to really be vocalized. It needs to get out there, because there are more people who oppose this. I know I do. This is not something I want from somebody who does nothing but hand out a turkey, a chicken to my neighbor who goes up there faithfully every year. And that's about it. And to hear a neighbor tell me he went up there to join, I'm going to close with this, and he said he was told to come back with his W-2. He had a list of stuff. And I said, if you go back, you're stupid. No church needs my Social Security number and my W-2 and needs to know how much money I make. They don't need that. So I say no, a big fat no to this dedication.
Just real briefly on why you didn't hear it, because it sure isn't from the efforts of it being out. You know, I actually am separating myself from certain colleagues. I will not call their name here, but colleagues that have the influence of airwaves, and for allegiance purposes, they didn't want to broadcast it. I also have colleagues that I'm very familiar with, I would call them friends, who are business owners up and down Old National, and for fear of retribution, as if they would not receive the same customers from World Changes, they didn't announce it. Let's be honest, Pastor Creflo Dollar is a very powerful man. And if you think I'm joking about this next step or this next thing, then see me after this. But shortly after I went on the news against opposing this, I went to the gas station around the corner right there on Chevron. I don't know who did it, not even worried about who did it, but I had a nice razor blade sitting in my seat. I don't know who did that, but I know signs. I know to cut your tongue out signs. I know to, listen, that's just how real this is. The people do not care about you here in this community. And there are people that have allegiance to certain politicians that have and I'm not going to choose this platform to call them out, but have said to me behind closed doors how they really feel, but yet they don't want to publicly say that. The time is now to stop giving us a pass, because if we're going to clean this up, it's more than just the man that we fighting. Many of us act like we are him. And it's time for us to call those out. Next speaker. I just want you to understand why, because the word should have been out a lot more, but it was shut down. But we here right now. I think this is a good group right now.
I'm Matthew B., and my main issue is that Old National Highway is public property that belongs to all of us, and by dedicating it, that's a type of ownership that he's gaining over our property, not him. I don't know how this got moving, but that's the overall effect, is he's taking ownership over our property by dedicating it under his name, and I would oppose.
Hi, my name is Derek Gibson. I moved in College Park in 1989, and that was just before the the church, Creflo Dollar Church, came about. And I watched things as they progress. Now, I come from a place where they say the church is the pillar of the community. It's where the people go when they have problems, when they have needs, when they need counseling. Okay, but I don't see that in World Changes. We follow our leaders. We watch those and say, okay, who is going to best represent me? Who's best looking out for my interests? And in return, I will walk along beside you. But you got to be out there with me. There's a lady that came up and said earlier about forging relationships. Well, Old National is the biggest church in this area. World Changes, I'm sorry. World Changes is the biggest church in this area. If anyone should be looking and reaching out, it should be them with all the churches, not just them. Okay? And as the gentleman said earlier, you will get your reward in the end. It's not what you put up front. It's a lot of time what you do behind the scenes, yes. And you don't need that recognition. Okay? And from a historical standpoint, Old National is history for this city and this community. Why change it? I oppose.
Good evening, how y'all doing today? All right. Listen, I'm here for the kids. You know, I don't really care about Creflo Dollar like that. You know, I'm here for the kids. And I'm just saying, like, I want Ms. Emily Donnell, I'm calling your office several times for the Old National Youth Association, you know, about the things that's going on. It's sad that a man, a church that large, has not donated to that community like that. No uniforms, no football field, no baseball, no nothing. Where he paying taxes to fund, he don't even have a basketball team, football team, or nothing. And I'm saying, if you're going to plant seeds in the community, you start with the kids. You know, and I said to myself, they said, they going to name Old National after Creflo Dollar. I said, I be out of Old National Park all the time. I ain't never seen him come down through there. I ain't never seen nobody from the park sponsorship. Why? Old National Park need scoreboards. Old National Park need a turf field. I go out to Ben Hill, I'm ashamed when I come back. Ben Hill got a nice turf field, City of Atlanta. Nice. If I wanted my child to run track right now, there's no track team on Old National to support him. The only track team that's around here is College Park and Quicksilver, which is on the other side of the City of Atlanta. See, it's things like this that I oppose the name because he's not gave back to the children. It's about the kids. I mean, grown people, we gonna choose. We gonna live our lives. But these kids, you got so many kids around here robbing and stealing because they ain't got nothing to do. They ain't got nothing to do. I said, you want to stop the crime. These little, I was at the little Flavor Dollar up there with my 8-year-old son. I got out. I seen 6 kids eyeing me down. Like they was going to jump on me. It's funny to me because I work on 901 Wright Street. But I had to grab my child just in case one of them would try it. Because they were looking at me like, you know, but those kids could very easily playing basketball, football somewhere. College Park got a good program. It's decent. It's sad I got to take my child to College Park. I live on Old National in the Waxford community to have things. So I'm saying to you, if you're going to change the name, you know, and do all these different things, ask Mr. Dollar when the last time he donated the Old National Park to sit right across the street from him. What have he done for these kids in this community? That's all I'm saying to you. You know, you're going to buy a little jet. I don't have no problem with you. But you sit around the whole community. That's all I'm saying to you. And I asked the staff about the Old National Youth Association. I'm getting a phone call back. Your staff. You got names, but Tracy, Tony, oh yeah, Mom, okay. Yeah, no, that's Jane. But yeah, but what I'm saying to you, but I was like, hey. Yeah, no, you do. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna lie to you. You do call people back. You do, because you helped me out one time. I remember that. But yeah, but for real though, y'all, seriously, real talk. If I give them back to the community, that's all I want to say. It's the kids out here. The kids at Old National, they had to scrap up for uniform. And that's a shame. You got a $1 billion church with a worldwide organization. This man got a ministry, a worldwide ministry, touching 4 corners of the earth. And the part that right across the street from him, the kids struggling to get the helmets painted, struggling to get the uniforms up. Parents who, unfortunately, who can't afford the uniform, they ain't no out for them because they don't have the money. The kid can't play. That's all I'm saying.
We got word that Pastor Thompson wanted to say some words. Y'all please greet her. Greet her.
To God be all the glory. We praise God for the opportunity to be citizens and not just bystanders. I've been listening to those of you who've come up and say how much you oppose what's being proposed. But the request that has to be made to this awesome leader that I've known for over 20 years, like tonight, somebody's always coming up to me to start a conversation with me thinking they're talking to you, and vice versa. And we call each other and say, girl, so-and-so said to tell you so-and-so, because we are always in the midst of somebody's conversation. But what I want to say to you is not what I oppose, but simply just to ask you to withdraw this whole process. It doesn't matter what we oppose, what we agree with. It doesn't matter who has seen the Dollar Ministry doing outreach or not. We are not standing in judgment of anybody. We are simply saying, please withdraw this. And then all of this energy and all of these caring individuals come together with you and with all of your other elected and faithful leaders, including those at the county level, those at the city level in College Park, and others in the state. Come together, whether you're here at or some other venue, and decide what must be done for Old National to be strong and vibrant for the children and the youth. We have a mandate, whether we like it or not. God is holding all of us responsible, whether we know it or not, to prepare the way for the next generation. The reason that they are thugged out and trying to try you is because they don't have a relationship. And they don't have a relationship with us because often we don't have enough resources. We don't have enough space. We don't have enough places. And so we need to come together and get our homework in order and see about the needs of the children. And they're all our children. They are our young people. They are young on our watch, on our shift. We are the adults in charge. We are the taxpayers. So I stand before you, having been a member of this church community for over 20 years. My appeal to you, Senator James, is as a taxpayer, as a property taxpayer in Fulton County, in the state of Georgia, I'm asking you, because my money gets spent here, to withdraw this. Not opposing anybody, anybody's ministry, anybody's theology, anybody's anything. It simply needs to be shut down. That's all. That's all we want. And then our commitment to you is to work with you to do something that is not honoring an individual, but it is honoring the taxpayers and their desires in this community. That's all we want. And I know that's what you want. And I don't know how it got started. We don't care about that. We just want it stopped. You understand? The Word of God says, make it plain. Write the vision down, make it plain. We envision this going away. That's our vision. And our prayers are that it will stop. We want the dedication proposal. We want the proclamation. We want it to all go away. Let me answer your question.
What's wrong? Y'all don't even know. I'm not renaming anything. I never tried to rename. A dedication is not a renaming. It's a 30-year anniversary of the church. 30-year anniversary with the same pastor.
She asked.
What I was asked to give a proclamation or give some kind of honor to.
Okay.
And that's nearly all that I tried to do. I know all of you, most of the people who've gotten up and I've been listening attentively. And I do work hard for us to have money in our community to make sure that any of your requests, whether I still have this district or not, people still call me. And I don't say, oh, you're not in my district. I say, what do you need? And I work for you. Someone said, well, will you do a proclamation for 30-year anniversary of this church being on this street? And I said, sure. We can't do a proclamation. I can do a resolution. They said, well, what else can you? I said, maybe we can do what we did for Gladys Knight last year. Peachtree Road didn't change its name. We just put two signs up there that say dedicated. Because I know she's not Creflo Dollar. We could do the same thing we did on Camp Creek Parkway. It's about 5 signs up there that says dedicated to the Tuskegee Airmen. It doesn't say anything else. It doesn't say anything else.
Please, let us speak.
There are at least 900 plus names of dedications. Dedications and road change, and nobody will have to change the address. No tax dollars are spent for those 2 or 3 little signs that go up there. And so you can have I've been listening to you and respecting everyone, and I disagree with a lot of things.
Please let her speak.
Well, because first of all, people call me day and night and ask me to do different things for people I don't even know. My so-and-so died, or my so-and-so got this award, or will you give this, or will you give, and I do. I do honor them. If they live in my district and they're not an axe murderer or a child molester, I say, okay, tell me more about it. The church who has been here for 30 years came to me and asked me, they didn't even ask their pastor. He didn't know anything about it until it happened, and then guess what? I put this in before Christmas. But when I advertised it and once it got a bill number, then all of a sudden the floodgates open. So I know there are a lot of people who have different ideologies or different ideas about this person or that church. That's not the criteria for doing a dedication. The criteria for a dedication is just to give honor to someone who may have paid taxes all these years on this street, and you say that the church didn't pay taxes, but they put the businesses on there. All those businesses on that property and of the other places that they bought, they do pay taxes. Maybe the church in the dome does not pay taxes. And then they do pay certain taxes. Then I found out even more about the church when I was doing all the research and all of the different programs they have that are contrary to some of the things that you say they don't do. And I did go. My husband died last year, and we've been together since we were teenagers. I started going to their Bible study and to their bereavement class because I went to the one at my church, and it made me cry even worse because my husband and I had been there all those years. So I went there, and that's when I found out. And I didn't see anything wrong with doing one more honor for someone that they asked me to do it for. If you ask me to do it for your child, your dad, or your mom, your church, this church, I love this church. I used to come here all the time. I visited all the churches. And all the neighborhoods who's still in here, you know that I have come to your neighborhood association meetings when I was in your district. They did push me down out of the district. And my colleague, maybe I should have asked him before I put this bill in, but it's not. That's another thing. You don't have to. It's three. Let me tell you, it's Ku Klux Klan names. Nobody ever came out and fought them. That's named in our neighborhoods, and this is like within the past 10 years. Nobody's ever, even. This is something that you just, you have the respect of each legislator, and we just put it on a list, and we just rubber stamp it most of the time. There's never been anyone to, but if you don't like this, I understand this. But it was only a dedication and only my respect for the constituents and the people who came to me and personally asked me to do something. Also, I was not asked. He said he asked me to do a town hall meeting, but I went to a funeral of Willie Bolden a couple of weeks ago. And when I was getting out of the car, this phone rang, which is my personal cell, and it was Mr. Coleman, and I never talked to him on the phone before. I don't even know how he got my number. It's okay.
Oh, my goodness.
It's okay. It's okay to have it.
Come on.
But he talked to me, and I said, I'm going into a church right now for a funeral.
And I tried to get off the phone with you. We just can't be lying in the sanctuary. We just can't be lying in the sanctuary.
I did ask my colleague to forgive me.
Hold on 1 second.
All right. This is how we're going to do. We're going to do everything in order.
We won't lie.
Hold on. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, we're not going to be out of order. We're not going to be out of order. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to be respectful. I know the pastor was not finished. Were you, Pastor, in your comment? What I think we want to do is have Pastor finish what she was saying. What do you think about that? Let her finish, and then, Mr. Master Ceremonies, we're going to ask Senator James to finish what she was going to say, and then I'll have a few words. Is that okay?
Excellent.
All right. Okay.
Senator James, I came up, as I said, not weighing in on opposing or any of that, simply from the context of being a property owner. I pay property taxes, I pay county taxes, I pay state taxes. My money is a part of everything you do and your colleagues do 24/7. I'm contributing to the underwriting of the budgets that roll down through the state and to the county and to this city. So from that standpoint, anything that causes this much angst and anguish and frustration and agitation for the people who are property owners needs to be paid attention to. And if it is just a proclamation that's going to hang on the wall, that's one thing. But when that proclamation becomes a street sign and property taxpayers have to ride by it and they have expressed their anguish and frustration, that bears a different kind of consideration. My mother has proclamations, and they are on the family room in her home. But you're talking about some type of dedication instrument that's going to be out on this street that everybody rides up and down. And the folks who are paying the taxes are saying, withdraw it. It's not about opposition to Pastor Dollar. As I said, I'm not getting into anybody's theology. You've asked why, and that's what I wanted to say before I complete. One of our church members mentioned this earlier. There is a fine line between honoring someone and idolatry, and we have to be very careful. You don't even have to be churchy. It's a matter of making sure we are focused on what we need to focus on. And I, knowing you, and we met doing youth outreach together, and I know your passion for God's people. This seems to have been some type, I'm perceiving. This is a distraction and a weight that I perceive should not be attached to you and your leadership in this community. That's me. And that's my little opinion, knowing all that you have done. And that's what frustrates me. I'm like, what is this? And how? Wrong person in the loop. Because there's so much more that is of value and substance that is associated with your name, your integrity, and your credibility. I want this stopped. As a taxpayer, as a citizen who is active in this community, that's all that I am saying. Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. I greet you again. I guess I didn't really greet you before I got up making comments. But I am a public servant. I am Donzella James. I am from this community. I heard a lot of people say they went to Westlake. My two boys went to Westlake. I was the PTA president at Westlake High School for 4 years, way back in the day when they were there. You know, so that's my area too. I rented an office on the street for 17 years, so I have paid taxes, and I have loved this area and still have ties to Old National Highway and all of South Fulton. I still represent Union City, Fairburn, and Palmetto. I have a very small portion of Old National near 138. That's still in my district. And I am honored to serve you. I've always been honored to serve. Being a legislator is not what I look at as a job, but as a ministry. And I have reached out to the people and tried to work with everyone. I knew I couldn't be everything to everybody, but I always listen, and if I can't help, then I try to work with them to find out who can help them. So I'm telling you, I don't know about all of this. I heard the neighborhood associations, even Camelot. I remember when you were having some serious problems, and I came and I helped with Camelot, with Pine Tree, with, and I know you voted 87%. I'm listening loud and clear. And definitely respect the pastor, the lady of God who just stood up, who many people say they thought we were sisters. And we've been working out in the trenches for so many years for the best of our community, for our children, and for generations to come. We always seem to be on the same page. I respect her, but I have backbones and guts. When I stood up, when I got attacked on this, I said I was not going to drop it. It may never pass. It may not even have a become before the committee now because there's so much opposition. But my word is my bond, and when I said that I would put this bill in for them and I did. I'm sorry. Can't see where I can withdraw it, but I can tell you that I have heard your cry. I even bought into some of the things that some of you have said tonight about the church before I got involved, and that was just recently within the past few months. I've always been a church member, but not over here and not on this street and not at World Changers. But I am now for 4 months been going there actively. So it didn't have anything to do with that. I see hands going up and everything back in the back, but I just wanted to say my little 2 cents. Don't think that I just ignored you. We had GONAC, which is Greater Old National Action Committee, and that was something that I started when I had all of Old National. And we met with all of the leaders, everybody who was elected to any position. We met with the police departments, with the neighborhood associations, and we had a meeting once every other week. We sat in the office on Old National and met so that we could talk about what to do. I was part of the prayer vigil going down the street. I heard about Prestige Ministries, and so I went out there with Taffy Dollar at least 10 times. And that was another reason why I decided to join that church, because they don't just go downtown to the strip club. They come throughout all of our areas. They even on Fulton Industrial. And so I just gave my time, my energy, my blood, sweat, and tears to try to do something good. So I'm sorry if I've offended you. I've already apologized to my colleague, because even though I could put a bill in to name something in Valdosta, Savannah, Gainesville, anywhere, because that's not one of the criteria. If you're a legislator, you can do it. So I did that, but I should have asked him first, since they moved me down off of all of this street. And so I did, in front of our Democratic caucus, beg his apology not long ago. So anyway, I know that y'all putting up one finger. That means my time is up. It's not? You have a question? Is it okay if he asks me a question?
Why don't we take questions after both of us
Mm-hmm.
have a chance to present, and take any and all questions at that point?
Okay, well, let me just talk about GONAC for another minute. It dissolved when I left, but I did work hard with it, and we did make some changes, and we did write some of those letters for the sidewalks that's finally coming. We did hear that you wanted to keep the roads clean. We did participate in cleaning up the roads. We did keep South Fulton beautiful to come over here and try to do some things to beautify. So I haven't abandoned you, and I did not ignore you. I have 43 bills. We just talked about raising the minimum wage today, but I'm coming here because of putting up 2 to 4 signs if this had passed. Obviously, with your concerns, it will not pass, I'm sure, at this point. So I'm, again, letting you know that no disrespect was intended, and I'm not on the defensive about what I did, because I still think that I should give honor to who honor is due. And when I thought that 30 years, if nothing else, 30 years on this street and reviving that old dilapidated Kmart that was there on that strip mall, and then continuing on to build a dome and do all the other things, deserved at least a dedication. So that was my opinion. I'm sorry, Pastor, where are you? I'm sorry I'm not going to pull it, but again, because I cannot go back on my word. I wouldn't go back on my word with you guys either, whether you can vote for me or not. I just want you to know I'm still here for you, and I don't know what else to say except that, well, I heard you say you do. But anyway, I'll pray for all of this street, and I hope that you'll pray for me. Thank you.
All right. Let's. My name is Vincent Ford. I serve you in the state senate, the 39th district. And I want to just clarify what my role has been or has not been in this situation. Okay, I have represented y'all since 2011. I represent 5 of the 5.5 miles that is Old National. That is about 91% of the street. I was not asked, nor did I sign the resolution calling for the name change. I believe I heard about it the same way y'all heard about it, through the news media. I was very surprised, since I do represent the area. You know, tonight I am, well, first of all, I'll be very honest with you. I have been focusing on a lot of other issues, you know, health care, Medicaid expansion, protecting public schools, trying to get some transportation things done. You know, when I heard about this, I said in the media, and I'll say to you, it is not a priority for me. We have a lot of other things to do here in our community and at the state capitol. I have heard you very clearly, but I just want to make sure. I'm going to take a hand count right now. Can I do that? I want to just take a hand count. All of those people in favor of the name change, I want you to raise your right hand. In favor of the dedication. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And by a show of hands, let me see all those people raise your right hand who are not in favor of this dedication. Please keep your hand up. We're going to ask for a count. We're going to ask for a count. Keep your hand up. $51 to 4. 51 to 4. You can let your hands down. I think you all have spoken pretty clearly. You know, I think this is an unfortunate situation that we are in. But I think we have a responsibility to make the best, to turn lemons into what? Lemonade. To take this challenge and make it a better challenge, make it a better reality. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not, as of tonight, you know, I am not going to support this name change. You know, I'm going to write some emails and letters tomorrow to the committee chair that it's been assigned to, letting him know what you have said. My district goes from Buckhead down to Union City. I include Atlanta, East Point, College Park, Union City. About 40,000 people are unincorporated South Fulton. And I am not up at the state capitol to make friends with folk at the state capitol. That, if you know anything about me, you know that's true. I go up to the state capitol representing you. And sometimes folk don't like it, but that's their trouble. We are here to make a better community. What I want to do is make sure that all of you, like I said, I've represented the Old National corridor since 2011. And I'll tell you, I take that very seriously. I represent you as hard and fast as I do any other part of my district. I want you to believe that. I'm going to give you my cell phone number right now.